Last month we caught up with the guys from Hank Vegas who told us a little bit about their CD release party. But with the CD here and everyone listening, we're going to catch up with them again to find out what it takes to record an album like theirs in the studio and what makes their sound so unique.
I guess Chad's friendship with Dave Martin and John Neff. He got to meet Barbie and went and did some demos and did some early recordings for Hank Vegas, I guess, a few years back. And,
right.
That's when the relationship with Barbie started. And Barbie took a real interest in the quality of the songs. And you know, from there the songs have evolved, and we've also brought Barbie a bunch of songs he'd never heard before that were kind of outtakes and turned into, you know, art.
Yeah, we challenged ourselves to sort of take stuff that hadn't worked with some previous lineups and started with those instead of starting with, you know, the core songs that I think folks expected us to start with. Because those two songs that, strangely enough, just had a little more honky-tonk than I think was representative of the band, and between the press over the last 3 years, I think the expectations of us becoming that and us, you know, trying to do that and trying not to do that has led us to I think the band we are now.
Yeah, it's been a real effort to push through that alt country cliche and, you know, make music that is a little more modern and forward leaning.
Yeah, after the people heard those demos and started floating around and got a little airplay in Atlanta and stuff, folks would come up and they would be like, "Man, I'm a huge Steve Earle fan too," and I'd honestly never owned a Steve Earle record, or, you know, I wasn't into, you know, Uncle Tupelo or any of that stuff that folks assumed I was trying to associate with.
R.E.M's definitely been a big influence, just from what they've done in their career and the kind of band they have become, and you know, they are the band that did everything right, and but that's not who we modeled the album after. We kind of went up there, and it was the first chance we really had to start playing around with layers and really wanting to do stuff we've been wanting to do for a while. We just hadn't had the lineup to do it, you know.
We basically we started working with songs that Chad had written, you know, the bones and skeletons of. We started working with those songs in August, I guess, and writing bridges, changing things around a little bit here and there, and we went to Barbie in January, and you know, Barbie's he's pretty amazing what his ear picks up and how he helps you develop the material. And so, you know, from that period of August through December was just woodshedding and, you know, trying to do as much as we could with it. And then when Barbie helped us, it was that process of layering and creating all this dimension in the music that we'd never heard before. So the songs changed for us as well.
Right, we sort of started hearing the identity that we were having, being a band coming through a large studio like that, and I think it helped the album, but, you know, develop an identity. There were songs that, you know, I think are some of my best work that just didn't make this record because it wasn't part of the identity of it. It sort of, you know, it sat outside what this record felt like. So that's the reason the record is short. It's because we felt like this collection of songs, you know, worked really well together. When people started recording the CDs, they felt like there's more time, so let's use it. But you know, there's something about a 30 to 40 minute record that there's something about, I guess, what it has to deliver in a certain amount of time that these longer records just don't have. And it, you know, for folks who, you know, grew up laying on the floor with albums and listening to the tracks on vinyl, you know, those were the records that we loved and the record we wanted to make.
Yeah, I mean, we recorded 7 or 8 more songs than are actually on the CD, but when we got back to listening to them, there's definitely 9 songs that were an entire album by themselves, and nothing else really needed to be added.
Well, and what Barbie brought us was Dave Barbie.
Yeah.
The Dave Barbie.
Not at all.
Well, I mean, it's a major studio that big records have come out of, and it's what you're able to do with that board is the equivalent of 365 days in the garage.
Yeah.
And then the ability to move things around, and then of course his expertise and experience with you telling him what you're trying to get, and him being able to deliver that. I mean, Barbie's a part of this record. He is a producer and he plays on the record, and I think he is very proud of the record as well. But being able, I mean, this is definitely, when you hear the record, you know it's a studio record, and that there's some fairly sophisticated production involved, and it changes a band. They're from Eno and his relationship with U2. I mean, there are certain bands that the producer is very much a part of the band.
And the whole process up there was just inspiring. REM was laying down some bass tracks for their new album right next door to us while we were up there. Hank Sullivan, the bass player from the Wigs, was doing his new album up there. And I mean, all this incredible work was going on, and it was really inspiring to us to really push and make this a better album than we had set out to actually make, And so I think that had a ton to do with how the record came out. So
the challenges are, I mean, we have an album now to go out and sell, and it turns a little bit more business than art.
The challenge is recouping the money to the record company. But also, I mean, we're bringing in some folks that are helping us get to that level.
Yeah.
Will here has been working with us from Moonshine Steel.
Started back a couple weeks ago, and it's just been phenomenal. I mean, helping us out in every aspect of our live show. I mean, sonically, he's playing drums and he's doing a fantastic job, and
he's all around great.
He's a great human being.
Yeah.
We love him. And this
of course,
fellow right
Catfish,
here, who basically needs no introduction, but Catfish is also helping us with the live aspects, and
good in, good out.
Sonic consultant.
Hey, these guys give you great, fabulous sound to start with, and if it comes in good, it's going to come out good. And that's one thing that Barbie helped y'all with for sure, is the maturing of the music and the maturing of the band. And like you said, the producer's a big aspect. Thank you, Tom Dowd, for paving that way back many years ago. But Barbie's great at that because he has done so many different things over the years, and that's something that really shows for people who know y'all and that have seen these guys and been part of their whole deal. That it definitely shows. The biggest thing for me is I always say this is the hooks. They have great hooks. You crawl out of the bed in the morning and something just sticks in your head, and all day long you're banging around on that hook, that one line, and that's the mark of a great song that's gonna get in your head and stay there for a day or for a week or whatever, and something that people can identify with and stay with them. And I love that about all your stuff, is that you've got great hooks, and it's not simple little ditties or anything like that. It's a sophisticated just thing that rattles around in your head all day. I love it.
The making of the record was so exciting. I can't wait to go. I'm ready to make the second record, but we need to support this one. We need to fulfill our obligations to the record company and take care of the business side of it and get the live act going. But I'm really ready to go make the second record. I think half of it's in the can, and there's no telling what's going to happen with what we bring in there. So I really enjoyed the studio process. I'm hoping I know I've sort of had a reputation of not performing very much, but I enjoy this group, and I think I'm going to enjoy the live act and the touring quite a bit. I think that's I think that's why I'm with these guys is it's the function and the personality.